भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Page number 16, Karika number 11. कारणं यस्य वै कार्यम् कारणं तस्य जायते जायमानं कथमजम् भिन्नं नित्यं कथं च तत्. Having refuted the Asatkaryavada, now Gaudapadacharya going to refute the Satkaryavada. Asatkaryavada and Satkaryavada, two philosophers who are talking about the creation. In Asatkaryavada, a new subject comes out of Karanam, is his principle. In Asatkaryavada, Karyam was not there previously in the Karanam. A new product alone comes from the cause. This is Asatkaryavada. A new product or subject alone comes out of that Karanam. This we have refuted. Now, Satkaryavadi says, a new product is not coming from the cause, but already existed product alone comes into manifestation. Already existed effect alone is coming into manifestation, is called Satkaryavada. What it means? Karyam utpattehe purvam karana avasthayam asit ityartha. Karyam utpattehe purvam. The product before its emergence, before its birth, it was in Karana Avastha anartha. It was in Karana Avastha or causal form. Karyam alone was in cause form. The cause alone appears as Karyam. Whoever says this, that person is called as Satkaryavadi. Further he explains, this is a product conversion is nothing but the cause conversion into product. Product conversion is nothing but the cause, just avastha bheda, status, karana avastha and karya avastha. Avastha bheda alone, natu vastu bhedaha. For that we saw this example. The clay was the first avastha, pot is the next avastha. Clay was that causal status, pot is the effect status. The status alone has changed. There is nothing, no new vastu here. Clay alone was there, clay alone is there. What is the difference? Pot avastha, gata avastha is called effect. Clay avastha is called cause, karanam. Gata avastha is karyam, mrud avastha is karanam. Karana karyam. Only avastha bheda, vastu is same. So with this, what corollary you can arrive at? Karanam is equal to karyam. We can say Karanam is equal to karyam. Or karanam is equated to karyam. Cause is identical to the effect. Correct? Whence the avastha alone is different, karanam alone is manifesting as effect, both are identical. Karanam is equal to karyam. This is the Satkaryavadi, who is known as Sankhya philosopher. In this 11th Karika, he is starting Gaudapada Acharya refuting the Sankhya philosopher who is talking about Satkaryavadam. Today our job is, 1 hour job is to refute Sankhya philosopher who is a Satkaryavadi. Then only you can understand Advaitam. This Satkaryavadam alone is called as Parinamavadam. The cause claim undergoes a change, manifestation into an effect. This is called Parinamavadaha. Clay avastha, so Parinama takes place into the pot form, therefore it is called Parinamaha. Since it is undergoing a modification, this process can be called as Parinamavadaha. The theory of creation according to Sankhya philosopher, we are analyzing. The theory of creation. According to him, what is this creation? If we accept that creation, Sankhya creation, what is the problem? That we have to see. Doshas he is presenting. First we have to understand the Sankhya's view. What are all his principles or doctrines? We have to see. After understanding the Sankhya philosopher's view, which is Satkaryavada or Parinamavada, Sankhyavada ani chonnalum, Parinamavada ani chonnalum, Satkaryavada ani chonnalum, onnuda. First we have to understand thoroughly his principles or doctrines. After understanding his principles only, we can refute that Sankhya or Satkaryavada. How can you refute? You have to show the dosha in him, his principles. What are the defects, fallacies in his principles? So what are the 3 stages of learning now? First, understand the Satkaryavada, his principles, doctrines, what he wants to say about this creation. After understanding Sankhya philosopher, then I have to see the dosha in his doctrines. Doctrine means principle, siddhantam. What are the defects? And that defects, since they are there, this is wrong, this is fallacy, we have to prove because of yukti, logical reasoning. Then only you can refute the Sankhya philosopher. So to refute Sankhya philosophers, first you have to do what? First understand what is Sankhya philosophy. What is Sankhya philosophy? That karanam alone manifests into karyam. It is a parinama. Karanam is equal to karyam is the first principle of Sankhya philosophy. We also accept this temporarily for time being. What? We accept the Sankhya philosopher for time being, but we don't accept totally. That's why we always, Advaitins, we borrow, which are all not contradictory to Advaita philosophy, we borrow from every system. We don't have any enmity with any philosophy. We take which are all useful to us And where they contradict to Advaita, there we object them. This is called sound knowledge, no? Sound knowledge means not that knowledge making sound. Sound knowledge means a knowledge without doubts. Then only your knowledge is right knowledge, clear knowledge. First doctrine is what? Karanam is equal to Karyam. Why? Karanam is one avastha, Karya is another avastha. Since only avastha bheda, not vastu bheda, therefore, first doctrine of Sankhya philosopher is what? Karanam is equal to Karyam. Cause is equal to effect. There is no difference. Both are identical. Then second principle, Karanam is equal to Karya means what? That water, same water is in a solid form, ice form. Same water is in gaseous form. Same water is in bubble form. Avastha bheda. No vastu bheda. Like that he takes. Then second doctrine is, what is that Karanam for him? Karanam is called Pradhanam. The fundamental cause of this creation is Pradhanam. Moola Prakriti. Fundamental cause. Fundamental means Moolam. Prakriti means Pradhanam. According to his language, Pradhanam or Prakriti he calls it as. According to us, we give another name for that Maya. What we call Maya, he call it as Pradhanam or Prakriti. Pradhanam or Prakriti is the fundamental cause of this creation. This is the second doctrine of Sankhya philosopher. Pradhanam or Prakriti. I use the Pradhanam or sometimes I use the Prakriti. Whatever comes in my mouth, I will use that. Pradhanam or Prakriti, both are synonyms. Fundamental cause means Moola Prakriti, Moola Karanam. Moola Karanam of this creation is Prakriti. That Pradhanam Karanam is Nityam. This is the second doctrine. Karanam is equal to Karyam is the first principle. That Karanam is nothing but Pradhanam. Pradhanam Karanam is Nityam. Eternal, birthless, Ajam and Nityam. Eternal and birthless. This is the second principle. The third principle is Karanam, Pradhanam alone is first avastha, alone is manifesting as the universe, Prapanchaha. Pradhana Karanam alone manifest as Prapanchaha, world. We are talking the theory of creation of Sankhya philosopher. Therefore, this Pradhana Karanam alone is Jagat Karanam. Therefore, it is manifesting as Prapanchaha. Prapanchaha becomes what? A product. Karyam. Prapanchaha means world or universe is a product or an effect. Its cause is what? Pradhanam is the Karanam. Now, three doctrines you are in your hand now. Karanam is equal to Karyam. Karanam Pradhanam is Nityam. Second principle. This Karanam Pradhanam alone is Prapanchaha. Karanam Pradhanam alone is the first avastha, Karana avastha. That Pradhanam which is in Karana avastha alone is manifesting as Karyam Prapanchaha. According to Sankhya philosopher, Prapancha is born from what? From Karanam Pradhana Karanam. According to Sankhya philosopher, Prapancha is Anityam, and it has got a birth. It is Jam and it is born and it is అనిత్యం. ప్రపంచం అనిత్యం. ఏన్న కార్యత్వాత్ ఘటవత్ అనిత్యం. అకార్డింగ్ టు సాంఖ్య ఫిలాసఫర్. ఓకే, నౌ యు ఆర్ స్టడింగ్ సాంఖ్య. కారణం ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు కార్యం, ప్రధానం కారణం ఈజ్ నిత్యం, అండ్ ప్రధానం కారణం alone is transformed, modified as karya prapanchaha, which is anityam. Now, what are the fallacies in this? Just one fallacy I will tell you, then we will go to the sloka, Karika. Karanam is equal to karyam. Karanam is identical with karyam. Only avastha bheda, natu vastu bheda. First principle is what? Karanam is equal to karyam. Second principle is what? It is nityam. Karanam is nityam. What is third principle? Pradhanam nitya karanam is anitya prapancha. Ani chonna enna dosham theriyumo? When you say karanam and karyam are identical, how can you say nitya karanam anitya prapancha? How nityam and anityam can be identical? Contradictory, no? Once you say karanam pradhanam is nityam, its karyam also must be nityam. You have to say prapancha also nityam. Then the karanam karyam are identical. Varey madrida. You should not say one is nityam, one is anityam. If you accept karanam as nityam, you have to accept karyam nityam. Jagat also, prapancha also nityam ani chollanam. Permanent, eternal. You want to say prapancham also nityam, appo anityam prapancha, okay, karanam also anityam ayadam illena. Either you accept prapancha as nityam. If you don't want to accept prapancha nityam, it is anityam anna, appo karanam also you must say anityam. Karanam anityam anna ottukano, illena prapancha nityam anna ottukano. Enna karanam karyam identical ani chonna. Your equation will become meaningless. Puriyadho? Complication puriyanum first. Complication puriyalena solution appuram puriyadu. Complication is this, contradiction is this. Karanam karyam identical equation cannot fit in when you say karanam is nityam, karyam is anityam. What is karyam? Prapancha. Karanam is what? Pradhanam. Nitya pradhanam, anitya prapancha, how can they be identical? Who asks? Gaudapada. Gaudapada charging that Sankhya philosopher. அதுதான் இந்த 11th ஸ்லோகா எசென்ஸ். ஓகே, இது சொல்லலைன்னா உங்களுக்கு புரியாது இந்த ஸ்லோகம். இவருடைய லாங்குவேஜே ஒரு மாதிரியா இருக்கும்னா. That's why I have given the whole background now. Now look into, he is showing two doshas in 11th Karika and 12th Karika by keeping these three doctrines of Sankhya philosopher. What is that? Karanam jayate tasya. Tasya means for him means to that Sankhya philosopher. For Sankhya philosopher, Nitya Pradhanam is also subject to birth. Karanam jayate. Nitya Pradhanam is also subject to birth because it is equated to Karyam. Since it is equated to Karyam, product is born. Once you say Karanam is equal to Karyam, it is as good as saying Karanam is born as Karyam. Adida Karanam jayate. Yasya vai, according to Sankhya philosopher, for whom, yasya vai means according to Sankhya philosopher, Karanam is born as Karyam. Moola Prakriti is born as what? Prapanchaha. Moola Pradhanam born as Prapanchaha. Karanam karyam. Yasya vai karanam karyam means Karanam is equal to Karyam. This is the first doctrine. இப்ப புரியறதோ ஸ்லோகா? ஈஸியா இருக்கோ? காரணம் காரியம் எஸ்யவை, யாருக்கு காரணம் காரியம் ஐடென்டிக்கலா இருக்கோ அவன் அர்த்தம். அவனுடைய காரணம் has got birth, jayate. The cause is identical with the effect. Number one principle here. Karanam yasya karyam vai, யாருக்கு காரணம் காரியம் ஐடென்டிக்கலா இருக்கோ அர்த்தம். Then jayamanam ajam katham, how can the originating entity, if karanam prakriti is subject to birth, how can the pradhanam be called as anadi moola karanam? Moola karanam anu solla kodadappo, once the karanam is modified, parinamam aiduthu karyama, and the karanam you cannot call it as moola karanam. Moola karanam is that which never undergoes a change. Can you say your father and mother are moola karanam for you? Fundamental cause? No. A fundamental cause is that which is never effect. What is the rule of fundamental cause? A fundamental cause is that which is always a cause. It should not be an effect. Never. Then only you can call it as fundamental cause. Our father, mother are not fundamental cause because they have their father, mother. Though their father and mother standpoint, our father and mother are moola karanam or effect. Effect. Therefore, our father, mother are cause from our standpoint. They are effect from their parents' standpoint. Appo father, mother are not moola karanam. Moola karanam is that which is not having a status of effect at any time. At any time. It should not undergo any change. That alone is the karanam. Moola karanam sollalam. Mari eppadi moola karanam nu solreen? How can you say moola karanam? Katham ajam jayamanam. Jayamanam, the karanam prakriti, which is subject to birth, originating entity. Because according to Sankhya philosopher, the karanam totally modified, parinama, it has undergone, born as an effect, according to him. Therefore, moola karanam and it is born, both are contradictory. Moola karanam should not be an effect at any time. And the birth irukka kodadu. Karanam angaradhukku birth irukka kodadu, change aha kodadu. Katham ajam. How can be it is birthless? Here ajam means nityam. Nityama irukkaradhe change aha kodadu. Illiyo? According to Sankhya philosopher, that karanam is undergoing a change, parinama, it is becoming an effect. Appo nityam enga irukka? Nityam ani solla kodadu. And the karanam, pradhana karanam nityam ani solla kodadu. Nityamana parinama ahakodadu, parinama aidutana nityamani sollakudadu. If it is undergoing a modification, you should not say it is permanent, eternal. Nityam, ikkada ajam anna nityam ani artham. Birthless, eternal, you cannot say. Not only that, tat bhinnam katham. Bhinna means here subject to birth. And how can that changing entity be eternal? Bhinnamana, subject to birth, which is changing entity. Your karanam is changing as karyam. Pradhana karanam is changing as prapanchaha. That changing entity, bhinnam, means it is going changing entity. How can it be nityam? Nityam and parinama cannot coexist. He is using very loosely nityam and ajam. Sankhya philosopher using very loosely, he is not knowing the depth value of that weight of that ajam and nityam. Very loosely he is taking that nityam and ajam for pradhanam karanam. And saying that pradhanam karanam is moola karanam, fundamental cause of this creation. Okay, if you have taken fundamental cause, moola karanam, pradhanam, and karanam karyam equal you are saying, but prapancham is anityam he is saying. And then there is no consistency in his conclusion. No? It's a lot of vagueness is there. Why, you know? What is the reason? The reason is, he has taken the pradhanam, moola prakriti by inference, by anumanam. He arrived at moola prakriti, pradhanam is the jagat karanam by inference. I will take that in the 13th karika. Okay, that comes the topic in the 13th karika. We have taken this maya prakriti not by inference, not by anumanam. We have taken the moola prakriti by shastra pramana. That topic I discuss in the next 13th karika. Now 11th and 12th karikas, 2 doshas he is showing. Now we will read that 12th karika, then I consolidate are the 2 doshas. What are they? Very, very dry irukum. And the more you understand, there is a lot of, you can call sweetness in that to understand. See, the more you see the fallacy in that aponist, other philosopher, the more clarity you get in your subject. எதுக்கு சுவாமினி இந்த சாங்கியா philosophy எதுக்கு புரியாத ஒரு சப்ஜெக்ட் எதுக்குன்னு நமக்கு தோணும். The more you understand the other philosophers' fallacy, it is as good as you are getting clarity in your subject. புரியுறது விஷயம்? The more you understand the other philosopher, the more clarity you are getting in your philosophy. We are not studying Sankhya philosophy for Sankhya philosopher's sake. We are studying Sankhya philosophy to understand, to confirm our philosophy, to convince more and more our philosophy. What is our philosophy? நமக்குன்னு ஒரு philosophy இருக்கா என்ன? Advaita philosophy, Uttara Mimamsa philosophy. Then only Aham Brahmasmi சொல்ல முடியும். எனக்கு சாங்கியம் வேண்டாம் சுவாமி, எனக்கு பிரம்மாஸ்மி போதும். முடியாது. You cannot be selective here. And the selective amnesia எல்லாம் ஒர்க் ஆகாது here. Don't be selective, choosy. Whatever Acharya says, whether I understand or not, I have to study, that's all. Whether first time you are not able to understand, second time you can understand. If not second time, third time. If not third time, fourth time. Doesn't matter. Worth to struggle. Okay. I am trying to struggle and I also make you to struggle to understand. Okay. Let us read 12th Karika. Karanadyananyatvam atah karyamajam edim jayamanadhi vaikaryat karanam te katham dhruvam. So, Gaudapadacharya asks, either both must be nityam or both must be anityam. Yes, Sankhya, philosopher, you must either agree both pradhanam and prapancham nityam, or you must agree both pradhanam and prapancha are anityam. You cannot say one is nityam, one is anityam, because according to your first doctrine, karanam is equal to karyam, that statement will become meaningless. Karanam is equal to karyam and chunna, you have to say either both of them nityam or both of them are anityam. Now first in the 11th karikala, karana anityatva doshaha he has presented. And the Karana Anityatva dosha is hidden there. If you accept Prapancha is Anityam, Karanam also will become Anityam. Karana Anityatva dosha will come. But according to you, Karanam is Nityam. Karanam Anityatva dosham vandachi. Nityam ani solran unaku Karanam Anityatva dosham kondu vanditele. Appo Karana Anityatva dosham vandachi ungal Karanathukku ani kekkurar avaru. In the 11th Karika. So Karana Anityatva doshaha number 1. Or Prakriti Anityatva doshaha. Prakriti or Pradhana Anityatva doshaha number 1. In this 12th Karika, and the first dosha lone part 2. What is the part 2? Karya Nityatva doshaha. That he presents in the 12th Karika. Angevo Karana Anityatva dosham vandadu. Ange Nitya ni chonnar. Inge Prapanchaha Nityatva dosham vandadu. Anga Karanam is equal to Karyam. Karanam is Nityam. Appo Karyam also Nityam ayadu. Appo Karyam product, how can it be Nityam? Nityatva dosham varume inge Anityatvamana Karyam Nityatvam agarthukku chances undu in artham. Ada Karya Nityatva doshaha or Prapancha Nityatva doshaha. Prapancha should not become Nityam. If it become Nityam, there is a problem. If Prapancha is Nityam, there is a problem. We will see later what is that problem. Okay. This is the second dosha like. First dosha lane rendu part. Paraspara virodhaha is the first dosha actually. Purva paraspara illa. Purva para virodhaha. Shankaracharya writes in his commentary on Gaudapadacharya Karika, what Shankaracharya says, this virodha is called Purva apara virodhaha. Purva pradhana karanam is Nityam. Apara prapanchaha, later, that which comes later, prapancha is Anityam. Purva apara virodham vandachiliyo. Virodham vandachi. Adinala Purva apara virodhaha is the first dosha. No consistency. All were great acharyas, not ordinary people. They are all giants, giants, intelligent giants. Giants, great people. So therefore we always hesitate to argue with intellectual giants. But you must know, even intellectual giants also commit mistakes. Commit mistakes. It's almost close to Vishishtadvaitam. Therima? It is almost close enna Vishishtadvaitam da. Therefore, we are not telling Vishishtadvaitam in pair. Once that comes in Brahma Sutra, we are going to see that. Here, you look into this. Purva apara virodhane, oru doshanne, rendu dosham paakana idlo, subdivisions. Karanan Anityatva doshaha, dosha number 1 in Purva para dosha. Karya Nityatva dosha in the 12th Karika. Karanat yat ananyatvam ataha karyamajam yadi. Yadi, if Ananyatvam means non-difference, identical. If there is non-difference of the effect with Karanam, he is reminding his principle. Karanam is equal to Karyam. நம்ம எல்லாம் போய் படிக்கல சாங்கியா பிலாசபி, அதுக்கு தான் நமக்கு புரியாது. அதனால அவரெல்லாம் சாங்கியா பிலாசபி படிச்சுட்டு வந்ததுனால they are able to present the subject. நம்ம படிக்கலன்னா கூட we have to understand the subject. What is that? Ananyatvam is equal to Karanam is equal to Karyam. Previously என்ன சொன்னாரு? காரணம் வை காரியம் అని சொன்னாரு 11th. இப்ப என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா Ananyatvam and word he has used. Karanam is equal to Karyam. If Prapancha is equal to Nitya Pradhanam అని అర్థం. Ananyatvam అని சொன்னாరు. Ananyatvam means if prapancha is equal to nitya pradhanam. Yadi, if suppose you take like that. Ananyatvam karanat ataha. Karanat ataha means from the cause. If you accept that karyam as non-different. Karanat means which karanam? What is the karanam here? Pradhanam. Karanat means pradhana karanat. If you take your prapancham as non-different, ananyatvam, then ataha karyam ajam. Karyam ajam. Karyam will become nityam. Karya nityatva dosha anartham. Karyam ajam bhavati. If karanat, that pradhana karanat, yadi karyam ananyatvam, karyam is non-different, it is identical, non-different, and identical, and if edta, karyam ajam bhavati. Karyam ajam anna, na question kekkalanna you will slip off. Appudu idika subject. Karyam ajam bhavati anna artham prapanchaha nityam bhavati in artham. Prapancham nityam bhavati in artham. Yadi karanat ananyatvam tarhi tata ataha karyam ajam bhavati. Karya nityatva doshaha agacchati. Clear? Over. Ini Purva Apara, not over. Sankhya philosophy, first doctrine only over. Two doctrines are there. First doctrine is what? Karanam is equal to Karyam is wrong. You cannot say Karanam is equal to Karyam. Ena adi maadhiri ottinda Karanam anityatva dosham anna varum, Karya nityatva dosham ana varum. In the yadi rendu vandarum kuda it is wrong for your first doctrine. How difficult to negate one philosophy, you know. Now, purinchikradike kashtapadrom. How difficult it is to negate. Then, come to the next line, second line. Jayamanat hi vai karyat katham dhruvam karanam. Abhinnam karanam katham dhruvam bhavati. How language you see that Gaudapadacharya language. Implied meanings are there, hidden meanings are there. Direct meaning kadikave kadikad. Jayamanadhi vai, which is born, prapanchaha, which is a product. Jayamanat, yat jayate. Jayamanat, since the world is born, any product is born. That what is our product now? What is the here subject matter? Prapanchaha. Prapancha srishti you are talking. Jayamanadhi vai karyat, from the effect which is born. The cause is not different from the effect. But abhinnam karanam. Karyat abhinnam karanam. Karyat, first 11th slokalana karanat abhinnam karyam ani chunnaru. In 12th slokal enna solraru? Karyat abhinnam karanam. Avladha karanat abhinnam karyam ani chunnaru 11th karikalo. Ippo karyat abhinnam karanam. Eppudu sonnalu onnu dane. Liya. From karana to karya you come, karana anityatva dosham varum. From karya to karana if you go, karya nityatvam will come. And the is equal to problem, middle. And the is equal to one vechir kariliyo, adinala the problem. We are only in the first step. The second step, third step, you can see the fallacy. So, Jayamanat, here right side, Jayamanat prapancham, Karyat, Karyat, Karanam, Abhinnam. Abhinnam, not bhinnam. not different. Not different means what? Identical అని అర్థం. Different illai అని என்ன అర్థం? Same అని అర్థం. Same illai అని என்ன అర్థం? Different, non different అన్న. Same illai అన్న different. Same illai అని சொன்ன different. Same illai అంగறது illai అన్న. ரெண்டுமே ஒண்ணுதான் அங்கிறது இல்லை என்ன அர்த்தம்னா ரெண்டு ஒண்ணுதான் அர்த்தம் இல்லையா? அப்படிதான் அது லாங்குவேஜ் அப்படி பிரசன்ட் பண்றார். என்ன பண்றது? அபின்னம் காரணம், காரியாத் அபின்னம் காரணம். இந்த பிரபஞ்சத்துடைய இந்த காரணம்ங்கிற பிரதானம் வேறாக இல்லை என் அர்த்தம். இந்த பிரபஞ்சங்கிற காரியத்தின் விட காரியாத் பிரபஞ்சம்ங்கிற காரியாத் ப்ராடக்ட் விட இந்த காரணம் அங்கிறது அபின்னம். அபின்னம் பின்னம் இல்லை அனு சொன்ன என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்? கதம் த்ருவம் பவதி? ஹவு கேன் யுவர் காரணம் பி த்ருவம் நித்யம்? ஹவு கேன் யுவர் காரணம் பி நித்யம் த்ருவம்? த்ருவம் நித்யம் அர்த்தம். Since you are equating your காரியம் to that காரணம், இது அனித்தியம் சொன்னேன். அது போய் எப்படி நித்தியமாக முடியும்? ஐடென்டிக்கல் ஆயிடுதுன்னா. அதனால நீங்க ஐடென்டிக்கல்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. சொன்ன ரெண்டுமே நித்தியம்னு சொல்லணும், இல்ல ரெண்டுமே அனித்தியம்னு சொல்லணும். புரியறதோ? புரியறதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஐ ஹோப் ஐ ஹவ் கம்யூனிகேட்டட். ரொம்ப கஷ்டமான ஒரு यत् जायते तत् अनित्यम. According to law, यत् जायते तत् अनित्यम. Every product and a born so and so time, so and so place. அப்ப இது என்ன அர்த்தம்? அனித்தியம். born so and so time அந்த டைமுக்கு முன்னாடி அது இல்லைன்னு தானே அர்த்தம். இல்லாத பொருள் தானே வந்தது இல்லையோ? அதனால நித்தியம் அண்ட் காரணம் cannot go together. காரணம் நித்தியமாகிறது காரணம் ஆக முடியாது. காரணம் ஆனது நித்திய மூல காரணம் ஆக முடியாது. நித்தியம் மூல காரணம் சொல்லி நீங்க காரணம் மூல காரணம் சொன்ன அது பர்மனண்டா இருக்கணும். சின்ஸ் யூ செட் பிரபஞ்சம் இஸ் அ காரியம் ஐடென்டிக்கல், இது அனித்தியம் சொல்லிட்டு யூ ஹாவ் டன் எ மிஸ்டேக். நெக்ஸ்ட் காரிகா we will read. Now one dosha is over. காரண அனித்யத்துவ தோஷா ஆர் காரிய நித்தியத்துவ தோஷா. புரியுறது? என்ன சமஸ்கிருதம் சொல்லிண்டே போறேன் நான். காரண அனித்யத்துவ தோஷா மீன்ஸ் காரணம் will become impermanent, non-eternal, அனித்யம். But according to you, காரணம் is நித்தியம். But your காரணம் is becoming அனித்யம். அது ப்ராப்ளம் வந்துடும் உனக்கு. Or you have to say what? காரியம் நித்தியத்துவமாயிடும், நித்தியமாயிடும். பிரபஞ்சம் பிகம் நித்தியம், எட்டர்னல். அதுவும் ப்ராப்ளம் தான். அங்க காரணம் அனித்தியமானாலும் ப்ராப்ளம், இங்க காரியம் நித்தியமானாலும் ப்ராப்ளம். இதெல்லாம் அவனுக்கு தெரியாதா? நமக்கு தோணும். சாங்கிய பிலாசபருக்கு புரியலையோ என்ன? அவருக்கு புரியறது என்னமோ புரியறதே பார்க்கலாம். ஓகே. நெக்ஸ்ட் காரிகா, 13th காரிகா. அஜாத்வை ஜாயதே யஸ்ய திருஷ்டாந்தஸ்தஸ்ய நாஸ்தி வை. திருஷ்டாந்தஸ்தஸ்ய நாஸ்தி வை ஜாதஸ்ச ஜாயமானஸ்ய தாச்ச ஜாயமானஸ்ய ந வ்யவஸ்தா பிரசஜ்யதே. According to the nature of pradhanam, it is ajam, it is nityam. That means it is birthless, it is eternal. According to Sankhya philosopher, it is birthless, ajam and nityam, anadi anantam. According to Sankhya philosopher, pradhanam or prakriti is birthless, eternal. That means ajam, nityam. Anadi means beginningless. Anantam, it is limitless. What is prapancham? Prapancham has got all opposite attributes. It is not Anantam. It is not Anadi. It is Sadi. It has got beginning. It has got beginning. It is not Ajam. It has got birth. It is not Nityam. It is Anityam. All opposite. Pradhanam Karinam ki Karya Prapanchathiki ellame opposite. Appada equal and sollakodadu. Next fallacy he is telling Yukti Virodha. In Yukti Virodha again he shows two doshas. Logically he is falsifying. Purva Apara Virodha, first one. Purva Apara Virodha means first statement doctrine, what he said, Karanam and Karyam, Purva Para Virodha, adila rendu Karana Anityatva dosha, Karya Nityatva dosha, rendu. Ippo Yukti dosha. What is logical fallacy? Again two fallacies he is showing here. First line la Drishtanta Abhava dosha. There is no example for you to show. I will analyze that. Drishtanta Abhava dosha. Drishtantaha tasya na astivai. Another artham. Unakku drishtantam kadiyadu. Example kadiyadu. எதுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இல்லைன்னு புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். அப்புறம் அதே பெரிய சப்ஜெக்ட் ஒரே. அப்புறம் ஓகே, செகண்ட் தோஷா இஸ் அனவஸ்தா தோஷம், இன்ஃபினிட் ரிக்ரெஷன். அனவஸ்தா தோஷம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெட் அஸ் see the second dosha in யுக்தி விரோதா. யுக்தி விரோதம்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தோஷம் பார்க்கணும். Drishtanta Abhava dosha. What is Drishtanta Abhava dosha? According to Sankhya philosopher, I said he took this Prakriti or Pradhanam by inference. Anumanam panni Prakriti irukku, Pradhanamangradhu one irukku, adinalada indha ulagame vandirukku. Idu avanude inference. Gaudapadacharya asking, how can you infer Prakriti? How can you infer Prakriti or Pradhanam? Anumanam vechinde moola karanam ani solla mudiyuma? Pradhanam moola karanam eppudu theriyumna? I infer na. Now he is asking, what do you mean by inference? He is asking the basic question of Sankhya philosopher. What do you mean by inference? How can you arrive at inference? இன்ஃபரன்ஸ் பண்ணணும்னா அதுக்கு ஒரு வியாப்தி பூமி வேணும். வியாப்தி பூமி. கொஞ்ச நேரம் தர்க்கம். ஓகே, ஐ எம் என்டரிங் இன்டு தர்க்கா நவ். வியாப்தி பூமி இஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட். வியாப்தி பூமி மீன்ஸ் வாட்? திருஷ்டாந்தம் அர்த்தம். திருஷ்டாந்தம். இது அனுமானம் பண்ணணும்னா அந்த அனுமானம் இதனால் நான் அனுமானம் பண்றேன், இந்த நாள் அதை நான் அனுமானம் பண்றேன்னா. Fire on the mountain. Fire on the mountain. How do you know? Are you seeing fire? No, I am not seeing. But how can you say fire on the mountain? Because I am seeing the smoke. I am seeing the smoke. Therefore, what? There must be fire. How do you know? Because I saw before. Where? In my kitchen room. Not present modern kitchen room, but olden days kitchen room. Wherever, 2-3 places I saw, not one time or 2 times. Many places I saw where there is fire. Poga varadina pathinde irundhe. Adinal inga poga irundadinal fire irundu irukkanum. Adinala nanu vyapti pandren. He has to give the example, Yatha Mahanase, kitchen room. And the Drishtantam illamal you cannot infer here. Adida Vyapti Bhumi. In the Jnanam, there is fire on the mountain Jnanam. This is called Vyapti Jnanam. In the Jnanam Varataki, first where this knowledge has taken place, what is the Vyapti Bhumi? Kitchen room. Clear though? Kitchen room is the Vyapti Bhumi, just as in the land where we reap the seeds, grains. அதுதான் பூமி என்ன அர்த்தம்? எந்த பூமியில நமக்கு தானியம் வளருமோ அதுக்கு பூமி அனு பேரு. எனக்கு எந்த பூமியில திருஷ்டாந்தம் கிடைச்சிருக்கோ அது வியாப்தி பூமி பேரு. வியாப்தி பூமி இஸ் த மை கிச்சன். ஐ சா ஃபயர், அங்க ஃபயர் இருக்கும் போது புகை பார்த்திருக்கேன், அதனால் இது வியாப்தி பூமி. இந்த வியாப்தி பூமிங்கிற எக்ஸாம்பிள், கிச்சன்ங்கிற எக்ஸாம்பிள், வேர் ஐ சா ஃபயர் அண்ட் ஸ்மோக் அட் எ டைம். Coexistence of, where you see the coexistence of fire and smoke, that is called Vyapti Bhumi. Where you see the coexistence of fire and smoke at a time, it is called Vyapti Bhumi. When you get Vyapti Jnanam, there you don't see fire and smoke at a time. In Vyapti Jnanam, you see only one thing. What one thing? Not fire. You see smoke. You see smoke only. எங்கெங்க ஃபயர் இருக்குமோ அங்கெங்க ஸ்மோக்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஓகே, எங்கெங்க ஃபயர் இருக்குமோ அங்கெங்க ஸ்மோக்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா கேஸ் ஸ்டவ்ல ஸ்மோக் கிடையாது. பட் ஆனால் wherever there is smoke, there must be fire. But wherever there is fire, you should not say there is smoke. அது புரியணும். எங்கெங்க ஃபயர் இருக்குமோ அங்கெங்க ஸ்மோக்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஆனால் எங்கெங்க ஸ்மோக் இருக்குமோ அங்கெங்கே கண்டிப்பா ஃபயர் இருக்கும். So this is called வியாப்தி ஞானம். இந்த வியாப்தி ஞானத்துக்கு இங்க ஸ்மோக் இருந்ததுனால் இங்க ஃபயர் இருந்து இருக்கணும். Here is coexistence of both. No, only one is you are seeing. What you are seeing? Smoke. What you are not seeing? Fire. But there in Drishta Vyapti Bhumi, you saw both at a time. In Vyapti Jnanam you see one. That is why Anumanam. புரியுறதா? வியாப்தி ஞானம்ல அனுமானம் பண்றதுக்கு என்ன காரணம்னா வியாப்தி பூமி. Therefore அனுமானத்துக்கு கிராண்ட் ஃபாதர் யாருன்னா, அனுமானத்துக்கு ஃபாதர் வியாப்தி ஞானம். இந்த அனுமானம் பண்றதுக்கு வியாப்தி ஞானம். There is smoke, there is fire on the mountain because I see the smoke. Vyapti Jnanam. In the Vyapti Jnana, in the Anumanatiki yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vanni is Anumanam. In the Anumanatiki karanam and the Vyapti Jnanam. And the Vyapti Jnanatiki enna karanam? Vyapti Bhumi. Therefore, Anumanatiki grandfather is Vyapti Bhumi. Vyapti Bhumi ki grandchild Anumanam. Now come to the Sankhya philosopher. He took the pradhanam is the karanam for jagat. He inferred the anumanam. Gaudapadacharya asking, what is the vyapti bhumi? By seeing this jagat, he is inferring mula karanam. What is mula karanam? Prakriti. Prakriti is the mula karanam of this jagat. He is inferring. What? Anumanam. Inferring means anumanam. What is that anumanam? Pradhanam is the mula karanam of this jagat, this world. Since there is a world, therefore there is a mula karanam. What is that mula karanam? Have you seen mula karanam? You have not seen the fire. By seeing the smoke, you are telling there is fire. Are you following me? By seeing the smoke, you are telling there is fire. By seeing prapancha, you are telling there is a mula karanam. Mula karanam pradhanam. By seeing the prapancha, you are coming to the conclusion there is a mula karanam pradhanam. What is that mula karanam pradhanam? Vyapti jnanam. Now Gaudapadacharya asking, what is the vyapti bhumi for you? Where you saw previously. அனுமானம் பண்ணணும்னா டேட்டா இருக்கணும், ஜெனரலைசேஷன் பண்ணணும்னா வியாப்தி பூமி இருக்கணும். முன்னாடி எங்க பார்த்திருக்கேள்? வேர் யூசா மூல பிரதானம். டூ திருஷ்டாந்தம் இல்லாமல் ஹவு கேன் யூ இன்ஃபர்? இது மூல காரணம்னு சொன்னா அதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீ பார்த்திருக்கணும். இந்த மூல இது இந்த காரணம் பிரதானத்துக்கு அனதர் காரணம் இருக்கான்னு சொல்லுவியா? கேன் யூ சே என்ன? பிரப்பிரதானம் சொல்லணும். இது காரணத்துக்கு இன்னொரு காரணம் இருக்க, இன்னொரு காரணம் இருக்குன்னா அனவஸ்தா தோஷம் வந்துடும். What is first dosha? உனக்கு திருஷ்டாந்தம் இல்லை. First you want to infer, you must have a திருஷ்டாந்தா. திருஷ்டாந்தம் இல்லாமல் you cannot சொல்ல முடியாது. ஒருவேளை திருஷ்டாந்தம் இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா அது மூல காரணம் ஆக முடியாது. Now you are seeing the smoke, therefore there is a fire, and this is the first time. Anumanam is always first time or second time? It happens only second time. Why? Anumanam based on Purva Pratyaksha Jnanam. Now tell me, you have got Anumanam on Moola Karanam Pradhanam, where you got Pratyaksha Jnanam? Enge Patrikedi? இல்லை இன்னொரு காரணம் பார்த்திருக்கேன். அந்த காரணத்துக்கு காரணம் என்ன சொல்லு? அப்ப இது மூல காரணம் இல்லையே. பிரதானம், பிரதானத்துக்கு இன்னொரு பிரதானம், இன்னொரு பிரதானம், அதுக்கு காரணம் என்ன? அதுக்கு காரணம் என்ன? அப்போ how can you say pradhanam is moola karanam? You cannot say pradhanam is moola karanam. Therefore it is ruled out. Prakriti is not a moola karanam. Another thing, important thing, karanam, once you say karanam, only becoming karyam, that karanam can never have nityatvam. No karanam can have nityatvam. Then they may ask us, what you want to say? And நம்ம கேட்பான். இதெல்லாம் நம்ம கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ண உடனே அவனுக்கு ஆன்சர் சொல்ல முடியாமல் he want to struggle. Then what do you want to say? நான் அப்புறம் சொல்றேன். First I want to let me establish your fallacy. இந்த 2 லைன் முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் நான் சொல்லுவேன் என்னோடது என்ன. நான் சொல்றேன் சும்மா. அவர் சொல்லிட்டார் முன்னாடி, அஜாத்வை ஜாயதே யஸ்ய. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல திருஷ்டாந்தஹ ந அஸ்தி வை. For you there is no drishtanta example. Tasya means to that Sankhya philosopher. Vyapti bhumihi nasti. Drishtantaha nasti. Yasya jayate ajat vainar. For whom an effect is born out of the birthless cause. Ajat vai means அந்த அஜமான பிரதானத்திலிருந்து யாருடைய அஜம் பர்த்லெஸ் பிரதானத்திலிருந்து வாட் கேம்? ஜாயதே யஸ்ய. தி எஃபெக்ட் இஸ் born really. According to him, காரியம் இஸ் ரியல்லி born. அதுதான் ப்ராப்ளமே. நமக்கு என்னன்னா, காரியம் இஸ் நாட் எட் ஆல் born really. காரணம் இஸ் நாட் காரணம் எட் ஆல். காரியம் இஸ் நெவர் born really. Creation is never born. Creation is not there really at all. Therefore, Brahman is not a karanam at all, according to us. Real creation கிடையாது. அவனுக்கு என்னன்னா, பிரதானம் ரியல், வேர்ல்ட் இஸ் ரியல், அதே நித்தியம், இது அனித்தியம், ஒரே குழப்பிஃபையிங். நமக்கு ப்ராப்ளமே இல்லை. நம்மளது விவர்த்த காரணம், அவன் பரிணாமி காரணம். பரிணாமின்னு சொன்ன உடனே இதேமோ அனித்தியமாயிடுத்து, அதேமோ நித்தியமாயிடுத்து. ஒரு வாட்டி காரணமும் நிஜமா ரியல்லி இது ப்ராடக்ட் கம்ஸ், வாட் வில் ஹேப்பன்? ரியல் இட் கம்ஸ். ஹோல் திங் இஸ் ப்ராப்ளம். யூ ஆர் நாட் ஏபிள் டு கிவ் வியாப்தி பூமி. யூ ஆர் இன்ஃபரிங் த மூல பிரதானம். யூ ஆர் நாட் சப்போஸ் டு இன்ஃபர் ஹியர். யூ ஹாவ் டு டிபெண்ட் அப்பான் சாஸ்திர. சாஸ்திரமேவ பிரமாணம். வை லாஜிக் யூ பிரிங் ஹியர்? யுக்தி யூ பிரிங் ஹியர்? This is a fallacy. According to them, there is a real creation. Once we active real creation, what is the karanama? That is a nitya karanama. Adi moola prakriti da karanama. Maya, how can it be a karanam? It is swatantram for him, according to him, nityam. So full of fallacies. All are mistakes only. Namak adi puriyadu, idi puriyadanna, no problem. Okay, புரிஞ்சவனுக்கு எல்லாமே டவுட்ஸ் வந்துட்டே இருக்கும். புரிஞ்சா சரி, புரியாட்டாலும் கூட புரியும் முள்ளமா. ஓகே, அனவஸ்தா தோஷம் வரும், திருஷ்டாந்த அபாவ தோஷம் இருக்கு. அதனால therefore you are not right ன்னு சொல்றாரு. வியவஸ்தா ஜாயமானஸ்ய ஜாதாத் ந வித்யதே. ஜாதாத் ஜாயமானஸ்ய, out of the cause which is born. ஜாதாத் ஜாயமானஸ்ய, out of cause which is born. Suppose you want to escape. No, my karanam is having birth. Suppose you say, my pradhanam is having birth. Therefore, it is also having birth. Therefore, if you say like that, you have to say another cause for that, another cause for that. Anavastha dosham vyavastha na prasajyate means anavastha dosha will come. You will be never able to arrive at Mula Karanam. Mula Karanam you can never arrive at. Then what is Mula Karanam of this Jagatana? Brahman alone, which is never the effect. Your Mula Karanam is not the ultimate cause, it is an effect. Therefore, it cannot have a status of Mula Karanam. If Mula Karanam is Nityam, it is Swatantram, Dvaitam will come. Advaitam cannot come. Therefore, Sankhya philosophy is what? 0 marks. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.